first ever Brother Up production podcast. I'm planting new seeds. So we decided today, just about 5 minutes ago actually, to do podcasts whilst you're driving, because sometimes that's where the magic happens, when you're in flow state. So this is the first podcast. We're just coming to a red light. So welcome to the podcast with Gavin, my brother.
Hello, how are you?
And of course, Gavin, maybe some of you don't know him. This probably will be posted up on various platforms. Gavin's just came home from an amazing adventure. He was away for how many years? 5 years? 5 years, travelling, learning his art, learning his trades, working with people, helping people, moving people forward, meeting so many wonderful people across this beautiful world. So if you know this man and have seen this man in different parts of the world, please let us know where you've seen him in the comment section. So today's podcast, we're in flow state today. We've been up from the early hours of this morning. We're on the rejuvenation program, which is part of our programs that we do with others. It's really important when you're helping other people that you're actually doing it yourself. So there's a program called the Power of Rejuvenation, and part of the rejuvenation is to get up earlier than maybe what you've done before. So one of the action steps, if you're watching this, is to do your best to even wake up 15 minutes earlier tomorrow. And you've seen the benefit of it, Gavin, yourself.
Yeah, well, truthfully it's something that I've personally been doing for quite a long time, to be honest.
Yeah.
The 5 a.m. Club book, Robin Sharma, that's obviously a brilliant book.
Yeah.
There was times in Australia, there was times I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning for work. And I just find my best days, my best performances are when you're up underneath the starlight, and that magic time of day, you can feel the electricity in the air.
I love that. It's like back in the day, watching wrestling and watching The Rock, where he says the most electrifying man. I find when to electrify yourself, whether you're a woman or a man, getting up in the morning, you feel electric, you feel alive. We've noticed a difference even obviously with the change in weather, but there's a spring in your step. Like we were driving this morning and the sun was shining, it was coming up. It was beautiful. Bliss.
Majestic.
It was absolutely bliss. So
glorious.
Yeah. And it's good to have a lie in now and then, but sometimes that then becomes a habit and a condition, and then people aren't actually in life and they're in that mode of wasting their life away because they're always in their bed till a certain time. But there's so many, like we would notice there too, there's so many people actually up at that time going for a run. Yeah. Like I remember Gavin said to me the other day, we were driving and he was like, look at that man there, and he was running this guy was running like 6:15 or 6:30 in the morning, bright and early, you know what I mean? So I think, I'm talking about this, it's all about personal choice too, and your level of commitment and your passion, because you have to have the passion to wake up to in the morning as well. And you notice that there's a boy running there.
Absolutely legend, yeah.
Legend.
That's an important thing, when you see people with something, like doing something there, and that guy running. It was actually on Paddy's Day. We woke up at 4 o'clock, was it, Paddy's morning?
4 o'clock we woke up, yeah. 4 a.m. in the morning we woke up on St. Patrick's morning, yeah.
Just to go on a bit of a mission. It was absolutely brilliant, and that's when we seen that guy running, and it was early doors. I don't think it was 5 o'clock, and he was out for a run, and I was like, what a legend, because we'll have to recognise that. But for example, if you see someone, and this is like your subconscious, obviously, Jim, the power of language, how you speak to yourself, how you communicate with yourself.
Yes.
Say you seen the guy out there running, and I celebrated him. I was like, what a legend, and there's a reason for that. It's the same way, and this is to paint the picture. If you see someone driving a really lovely car, and like Northern Irish language, or it's just habitual, you'd go, oh, look at that cunt, oh, look at that one.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true, right? So what you're doing is obviously your subconscious records everything, James, you know that, and it doesn't do sarcasm, it takes exactly what you say as gospel. So when you say, oh, look at that cunt, or whatever that word is, the chances that your being is going to go to work on doing to get that thing when you're telling yourself it's
Yes,
bad?
and that is so important. You're highlighting that because the CC culture is what we're all about. The celebration culture. Sometimes in the past, and we've done this ourselves, you're in the other CC culture, which is criticism culture. You know, but the celebration culture is celebrate people for their success, celebrate people for even their failures, because they need that person. Like the other day, I had this. We decided to go for a run rather than to doing the boxing. Remember that morning? And I was testing. I am tested when I run. It's not a thing I love to do, but I'm doing my best to love it more. Dancing's more my thing. But I remember, like, we were running, and then you overtook me, and unconsciously I went into an old belief and an old pattern and an old situation that happened with me in school, and it brought up this thing because I remember being in school, someone running past me on what you call it, cross country, when we used to train for that, and then I used to feel defeated and deflated. Whereas really, I didn't know back then the power of celebration and commending you know, or commending that person. Because if someone is, we're playing at the level we're playing at and the pace we're at, but quite often some people, and I've done this in the past, we compare and contrast, and some of you may know, and the guy we work with actually shared the stage with Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins says, comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison will rob you of your joy. So yeah, commending people for what they're doing, like that guy running, or if someone in your community buys a brand new car and it's a car that's wow, or someone in your family, you know, does something successful, or your community does something successful. Like there's a guy who's local to us, who's an amazing footballer.
Oh, legend.
Shane Lavery.
Yeah.
You know, and Shane Lavery,
Wow.
what a man. Shane is like we actually shared the pitch with Shane when we used to mess about years ago as young men, young boys. We used to play in a rough field, and that was our training ground to meet people and to play football ourselves. But Shane has took football so seriously with a passion, and he's amazing. And now he's reaping the rewards because he stayed the pace with his passion.
He'll go back to England. He'll go to a big club.
He'll move forward to England. I think they're
Go
seeking
forward,
it.
yeah,
I think he's actually been called up to to Northern Ireland for the country.
Rightly so.
You know what I mean? Which, like, celebrating that success is brilliant, because the more we celebrate of people's success around us, we feel better. But celebration culture is better than the criticism culture.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, like, just because someone is better at you at one particular thing,
yes,
doesn't mean that you don't have your own skill set and traits and attributes that are so important, and you're so.
Do you know what? It's so funny you're saying this, because we're stopped right now. There's roadworks, right? And years ago when I passed my test, I used to curse the roadworks. I want to get home, but you know, it's your energy that you're bringing to things. So bless everything like this. You'll get to where you're going in time, and to trust the process.
Time is a huge factor for people who fail to account for when it comes to success or getting anything.
Because these guys are wrapping up for work, and like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, they're providing a service. It's their job. Sometimes in the past, you maybe,
It's an era of instant gratification. That's what's been taught, you know. Instant gratification, go from this to that, like this, without doing very little for it. And the truth is, though, like, say if you go like anything that's, and it sounds cliche, but anything that's genuinely worthwhile, something that's really going to mean something to you, is because of the trials and tribulations it took to get there. And that's like it's the journey, but and fall in love with the process. But that's right. That's a key. If you did that, fall in love with the process, because then you start to see all of the challenges. You used the word failure earlier, but there's no failure. There's no such thing as failure. You cannot fail, because really what you're doing is you're learning. You've learned a lesson as to how not to do something. Essentially.
And I remember listening to Michael Bernard Beckwith, which is another guy in the field of helping people, and Stevie actually brought him over when Stevie used to do the high achievers and the vision seminars. He brought this man over, and I remember listening to a podcast of his, because I love growing from, you know, growth is listening and learning from other people. Like, we're mentors, we help people, but you know, and he said this, and this is what you're saying, life happens for us, you know, and I make things happen, and that's what he was saying. He was saying, like, people who attack mediocrity, you know, or people who live a mediocre life attack people who do big things, but they're actually attacking you from their level, and that's actually for your growth. And the same as your failures. All of our failures are for our growth.
Exactly.
Because they're not failures at all.
They're the biggest part of the growth.
They're the biggest part of the growth.
That's when you're growing the most.
Yeah.
That's when you're growing the most.
It's so true.
And that's why it's like the quickest way to see that or to experience that or do that is the gym or working out, because you work out and you can feel the muscles growing, whatever it is, and it's pain. But it's not pain, you know, it's controlled and it's safe and it's smart training. Obviously, you're not injuring yourself, but you can feel the pain involved, and that's when you feel like you just want to give up or quit or set the weight down, whatever it is. Oh, that's too much, I'm going to set it down. But that's exactly where the magic happens. That's where the growth is. That's when you're growing the muscles. That's when you're changing the body the most. And all it takes is just doing that one extra reps. The same way with your success. When it gets painful to the point that you feel that you can no longer bear it, that's exactly when it's up. That's when the magic is kicking in. That's when the growth is. And it's only a rep. It's such a short time period between the intense pain and the success being there. So people say they don't realise how close you are until you stop. It's so close. That's right where it is, and that's right where most people stop. And
yeah, and then the regret, and if only they pursued, because it's so true. Because I remember seeing on social media years ago a picture of a plant almost about to come into life. You know, it was in the soil, and the farmer came and just moved the land about because he was like, there's nothing growing here, but the thing was just about to come through. And it's the exact same of what you're saying. By the way, if you're listening to this and you're hearing a noise, it's because there is a bearing that needs change in this car, and that will be changed as well. Taking action. So just in case you're watching this and you're like, what's that noise? It sounds like an airplane. Thing is, it's a sign. Take off. You know what I mean? And things happen. Things don't go to plan, you know, and things need adapted and adjusted. Like your body, like your mind, like the car. We need serviced. We actually have a man who came to our events and retreats. We were talking about him today. He's done really well in business, but he actually said in the testimonial, he said it was an MOT on himself. It's like this car, you must MOT your car, you must service your car, you must service your mind. Exactly. You must service your life. You know, throughout your life you're going to have challenges, things to let go of, things that maybe you're holding on to, stories, poor self-image. But when you go deeper, to the deeper level, you can really blossom into life. You can grow from flow state, because you're actually in the process of healing and uncovering and learning and developing, and it's amazing. It's amazing to be part of, you know what I mean, that process.
Oh man, that's like, you use the term no-brainer, but like, instead of what we do, right, people come to better themselves, better their life. It's like, well, who needs to do that? And everyone needs to do that. Everyone needs to do that all the time, always, forever. When you're here, you need to better yourself, you need to improve yourself.
Yes.
And that's what we do. And it's like, we help people to do that. And it's kind of
that's what we do professionally.
Professionally, yes, of course, yes, absolutely. Because like they're like, that's, you know, you're people talking about like marketing messaging and all this thing. And it's true, it's so important to any business, of course there is, one of the pillars. At the core of it, it's the message really is just like, do you want to better yourself? Do you want a better life? And now it's every day, because you talked about mentors, you're always learning, you're always growing, we're always learning, we're always growing, and that's like exponentially all the time. The master is always the student.
Yeah.
Always the student.
Mic drop. True. That's a truth bomb. Like, the master is always the student. Take note of that. Like, even I'm taking note of that today, because quite often we think in separation, or we also think of, you know, putting people less than ourselves too, because you sort of sometimes put yourself on a pedestal and stuff like that.
For significance.
For significance and for exactly. So So what you're saying there is really important for everybody to note. Is you can always learn. Your
Life's growth.
Your
Human need.
growth is a fundamental need. Well, it's a fundamental principle, guiding principle to your.
It's a need. It's human need. It's a spiritual need.
Yes.
It's one of the most noble.
Yes.
Because needs are like not wants. They're not desires. It's not something you would just like to have. It's not something you'd love to have.
Yes.
It's something that you need. Every human being that you meet, no matter what race, religion, culture, beliefs, political background, socio-economic class, whatever, and let's just talk about people on pedestal. Everyone has them 6 needs, no matter what. So that's why you can always engage and relate with people, and then find out what need they're like. Find out what need people are prioritizing.
Yeah.
You can find out. You're not finding out like a detective, but you're coming to understand and realize. Then you can serve them, help them better, and love them better, and love them more, and help really unlock any challenges they're having, or give them needs that they're lacking.
Yeah. And then moving them forward with their dream, their goal, their vision, their worthy ideal, as we call it.
Yeah.
And some people might not know what that is, and they get that from what we do, from the healing process. Because the thing is,
clarity.
When you clear the mind, like
stop eating sugar.
Stop eating sugar. Well,
turn off from the.
Yeah, I love that, because Gavin's saying there that what you shouldn't do, what you should do, but what you shouldn't do, but also stop eating sugar, but eat cleaner.
Eat, of course.
Eat cleaner, like eat blueberries, eat from the land. We work with a girl, an amazing woman called Nikki. Shout out to Nikki Cullen. She's a star of the Super U. She is an amazing human being, and I remember her saying, eat from the land, not from the man. And that's spot on, because as in the man from man-made, as in factory-made, as in processed, as in filled with so much and will feed your body with rubbish. There's so much rubbish out there. We noticed this the other day when we were in the shop. When you're conscious of this, holy smoke, it's good to have your consciousness, or you will be shafted in life by sugar. And there's actually a book, Sugar Blues. Sugar's more addictive than cocaine, and I would agree with that.
Well, you just have to think about it, and that's the answer as well. Just think about it. You've had sugar in your life, right? You've had weeks, and recently we're eating really clean, no reduced sugar. And how did you feel?
I felt so. Being on the rejuvenation program, no sugar, I felt renewed, restored, re-energized, focused. I felt certain. I was primed. I was up early. I was sharp.
Yeah.
I was sharper.
Yeah. And then say you go off the bandwagon there for a weekend. You thought, you go and you have whatever.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It's good.
Yeah.
So exactly. And when I ate then the sugar or it's okay to treat yourself. It's not it's not to live this life where you're boxed into another box and you have to live. So commend yourself for treating yourself, but don't punish yourself. No. That's what people do, and then they fall into that condition because they're linking pain to it. So then they comfort eat, Whereas I would celebrate now if I have a bit of chocolate. You know what I mean? But I don't punish myself. But yes, what you're saying there, I noticed a massive difference in my energy when I started eating less cleaner, and I started eating rubbish.
If every day you just the 4 agreements, it's brilliant. But if every day if you disagreed on one thing with yourself, and it was you were going to be healthy, or you're going to be healthier tomorrow than you were that day. That's what you're going to do that day. You're going to be healthier tomorrow than you are today. And you
fitter, stronger.
Everything, in every way.
We're stopping at a red light here. This is a powerful podcast. We're on 19 minutes of pure golden. This is powerful. This is all from the flow state. Gavin asked me a question earlier on a video, and I want to share this because I remember Stevie J, the man we work with, he shared this, and it's so true. Dream lofty dreams.
James Allen shared it.
Well, James Allen shared it, but Stevie shared it with me. James Allen didn't share it with me.
Yeah.
Stevie shared it with me, but James Allen in 1903, and Stevie picked up on this.
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
James Allen quoted this in 1903, and Stevie shared it with me. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, you shall become. What does that make you? What does that do for you, Gab? What does that do for you?
I actually ran a marathon with that quote, man.
Say that again, because the people made it not because you talk that camera that way. Say it to the camera.
Well,
Yeah.
well, obviously, ran a marathon with that quote in mind. It wasn't just that quote that did it, but it was a belief that definitely helped me get me there. It's like all the things you pick up, all these things that you learn. To break it down, think about it. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, you shall become. Because people hear that, and it does, like the subconscious hears it, of course, but it might just sound like a
quote,
a rhyme of poetry.
Yes.
But it means like there's no impact with it. But like that's the answer again. Dropping the answers tonight. Think about it, right?
Think,
exactly.
and feel the words that resonate with it. And I know there's people out there. You maybe not know Gavin on a personal level. This man has never ran a marathon, by the way. He said there that
Fucking hell, no.
well, you have now. You never had to run a marathon, and he has now because not just that one quote, but other things as well. Because he dreamt into the result, didn't you? You dreamt into that result, and now it's became reality.
Exactly.
So whatever you want to create and bring about in your reality, get into the dream state. You know,
imagination. Well, imagination is one thing, but so really it's like this is spiritual, intellectual, physical. But
Yeah.
Like you get like anything you've ever done, anything you've ever done, name like
me.
anything.
I achieved an amazing success story of
Just quickly, one answer or one sentence.
speaking in New York City.
Right, speaking in New York City, right? You spoke in New York City, right? And I'm sure how that felt amazing.
It
right?
was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Hello to everybody in Yonkers.
Yes, because it was a dream, right? So
Yeah.
think where, like, so before you spoke in New York, before you were standing there and you were speaking in front of these people, and it was happening, right? What happened before that? Where did it start? You didn't just wake up one day and go, "I'm in New York and I'm going to speak," right? So,
Well, that dream came from a retreat,
yes.
and I was lying down. I was in a relaxed state. My body, I was relaxed, and we call it downloads. I had this streaming download. This thought, this idea popped into my being,
So,
a flashing
right,
image.
that's exactly it. Right?
Boom.
You call it a download. Exactly what it was. It was an idea. Right?
Yeah.
So an idea, and it came to you particularly because you were in the dream. You had clarity. Your intuition was high. You were cleansed for the weekend, right? So this is how the marathon went. You know, it's like anything from you deciding to go release a film. It starts with an idea, right? And this idea just comes to you, and it came to you, and it was like boom, and you didn't.
I said yes to it.
Well, that's exactly right.
I said yes to it.
That's exactly right.
Because years ago, so your mind, see the conscious mind,
Yeah.
you have your choice muscle sits between your conscious mind and your unconscious mind, and that's your reason faculty, your choice muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the ability to say yes or no, or reject, or neglect. You can neglect something, like don't tend to the garden, but you can say yes to it. I said yes to it. I planted the seed.
Exactly, and that's when it happened. So that's when it happens, is when you say yes. Because so that idea came to James, and whatever idea I want to lose weight or whatever ever it is for you. See, when you say yes to it, right in that moment,
Just say yes.
Just say yes, but you did say yes.
I said
you
yes.
were like, "Fuck, that's legendary! I'd love to do that." And
Yeah.
you were like, "Yes, Stephen McGrath."
Yeah.
Now, what happened there, Len?
And I wrote it down.
Yeah, so it went from the spiritual to the intellectual, and you know this, of course, you do. And then really, once you say yes to it, so that's when it happens. Because the rest, you don't have to think about the rest. You don't have to worry, particularly.
No, not about the how, where, when.
Words. You don't have to think about
No,
it. Yeah,
no.
Because think's much better than worry. So you don't have to think about it. Your entire being, because you've said yes to it, your entire being will go to work on making whatever that is happen for you. Like you will start asking the questions. What do I need to do that? Who do I need to be? Where do I need to be? When do I need to be? All of these questions.
Life will start showing you signs, because I was procrastinating with it then afterwards, and life was then showing me signs, and I met a woman called Maggie Brady, and she came to me and she said to me,
Yeah.
There's a person in New York who wants to hear you speak. There's people who want to get you over to New York.
Yeah.
And that was life sending a sign right to my face.
Yeah.
And I said, really? And it's captured in a film. But yeah, saying yes. And when you said about spiritual, just to let people know watching this, spiritual is the unseen. You know, the unseen. So your ideas, these dreams, the vision, which is not reality right now, the things that you're capturing, the things that you would love to do, the things that are screaming to your being to do. This is the spiritual. This is in the creation process. This is the unseen, and then the co-creator space, and then the intellectual. Then yes, say yes to it. Say yes to that, and then life will show you signs, and things will happen, and take action.
And then it comes into the physical, and that's it done.
And that's it done.
And that's the spiritual, intellectual, physical.
And this first podcast, truth be told, we were leaving the hub earlier. We've been helping loads of people. It came into my awareness, came into my being. I said to you, you were at the top of the stairs. I said, Gavin, we should do podcasts. We should do carpool podcasts. And then I was thinking, right, when can I do it? And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take action now. It came into the unseen. It was there. Bang. I said yes to it. And now we're doing it. We took action.
Absolutely.
And now we're here. And now it's the physical. And there's going to be people watching this who are going to get something from this.
This is the consciousness car.
This is the. So we're going to wrap it up. Gavin, any final thoughts? Because it's almost 30 minutes of pure magic. If you have enjoyed this podcast, we're just here to share a message. We'll do more of these. If you've enjoyed it, do let us know in the comment section. Share this with people who want to move forward and awaken and ignite their consciousness, of course. Gavin, any final thoughts for the viewers at home listening to this message?
No, just know that you can do anything. You can do anything, and you should do everything, because that's why you were put here for. That's your purpose. That's your reason. When these ideas are coming to you, and you might be fearful or busy mind and said no to it, you're denying life itself. That's why you're here. So know that you can do anything, and then know that you should do everything, because by doing it, then that's it. You are an inspiration for others. You have more in your life, so you can give more in your life. By giving more, you make more of an impact, and then you realize the more that you give, the more that you get, and you will. That's your purpose. You're here to impact the lives of many, more than you even possibly know. People you'll never meet in your life, and so just know that you can do it, and you should do it. That's my message. You should do it.
That's a powerful message to leave with, because if you're out there, know, as Gavin says, you're born on purpose. You have dreams and goals, the things that you want to do. Know that when you perceive an idea,
it's easier to be a success than a failure. Think about that.
Yeah,
it's easier. Everything about your life is easier when you're successful. So be successful. You deserve it, and you should have it all.
Yes.
And all those dreams.
I know.
Somebody get all fired up. You feel them inside, because you can vibration, and this we can go into like body language. That can be another podcast as well.
That's what
you feel it from them, and you want that for them, and then they have it, and you're like, fucking yeah. And like, I'm so happy. I'm so thrilled. And then that's your fulfilled life, because that's when it comes down to. It's not the things you have. It doesn't matter what it is. That will not fulfill you long term. But
Wow. Well, Gavin said something there which is important. Let us know in the comment section what you want us to talk about. You know, what you would love us to talk about, because we're going to do more of these. This is a 30-minute almost of absolute flow state. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Share this with people who want to grow. Let us know below what you would love us to talk about, and we'll see you in the next podcast.